What's up everyone and welcome back to the UFC News Hub. Today let's get started with Alexander Volkanovski believes rematch with Ilia Topuria will happen. Alexander Volkanovski is eager to prove that he can still compete at the highest level against the UFC's rising talent. At UFC 314, he will face Diego Lopes for the vacant featherweight title after Ilia Topuria decided to move up to the lightweight division and relinquish the belt. While Volkanovski would have preferred a rematch with Topuria to avenge his knockout loss, he still believes their paths will cross again in the future. In an interview with ESPN, Volkanovski expressed his mindset about bouncing back and reclaiming his place at the top. I'm over losses. I'm going to get them back. I'm going to get the belt back. I'm going to defend, and that's just going to add to my legacy, add to the story. Even that Ilia rematch. Maybe we can get a rematch further down the track. Maybe it's all meant to be. He acknowledged that the fight landscape was constantly changing and that he had initially expected to face Topuria again. That's what we thought it was going to be. I did the face-off originally early. That's what I wanted. Then it got to a point where I didn't know what was happening. You're hearing Topuria even talk about maybe moving up. I'm like, is this just negotiations? What's going on? I didn't think too much of it, so we were still game planning for Ilia. Then hearing it could maybe be Lopes. So by this stage, I'm like, just give me anyone now. Volkanovski made it clear that his first choice was always a rematch with Topuria, but once that was off the table, he just wanted to ensure he was fighting for a title. My first option obviously would have been Ilia, but then it got to a point where I don't care. Just make sure I'm fighting for a title at this date because I don't want to wait any longer. I thought interim was maybe going to be an option. It's even one up from that. I'm fighting for the actual title against a young, hungry guy. Despite the opponent switch, Volkanovski remains motivated. He sees this fight as part of his comeback story and an opportunity to prove that he can still beat the new wave of featherweights. I want to prove I can get that win back, but I also want to prove that I can beat this new school. I wanted to do that with Ilia. He's gone, but I can still do that with the new school. Part of my comeback story is that I can still take out these new guys. Trust me, that's still good for my story. Lopes is currently on an impressive run and Volkanovski acknowledges the challenge ahead. Lopes, he's young, hungry, on a tear. At this moment, I go out and do that and people will say, wow, Volk still got it. However, he also recognizes that he could have done some things better in preparation for his previous fights. This time, he's making key adjustments to ensure he's at his best. I probably could have done some things better. I could have done better with my nutrition. I decided to do that this time. 14 weeks out from the fight, no cheat meals, not even a cheat meal. And everyone knows I like my food. He's fully focused on improving every aspect of his training camp, making sure he's in peak condition well before fight night. I want to bring that weight down. I want to be moving fast. I want to feel sharp. I want to feel like me. I don't want to wait until 2 weeks out from the fight and then be like, all right, I feel sharp again. But I had this whole camp of me moving around like a slob. I didn't want that. Volkanovski is holding himself accountable, both in and out of the gym, to ensure he is in the best shape possible for this fight. So I was like, alright, we'll just stick to it. Just making better decisions, keeping myself accountable, not only in the gym, but outside the gym, which is something that's a little bit different. Just me understanding that if you want to have this one last crack at the belt, defend it, be active, and make the most out of this last run. Let's do it properly. This is a determined Volkanovski, a man who refuses to be counted out, who still believes he has what it takes to dominate. The rematch with Topuria may not be happening right now, but in his mind, the story isn't over yet. Israel Adesanya recently shared footage of himself grappling with Michael Venom Page, giving fans a rare look at their ground game. Both fighters are known for their striking, but this clip shows them testing their skills in a different aspect of MMA.
Never wrestle on chest forward, gentlemen. And never put yourself further into it and then defend it. That's why the training is there. Here we go. Who's gonna get a nice takedown for us? One for me. One for me. For the sake of the meeting. One good takedown. One Uchimata. Oi! Oi! Good one. Almost. Almost.
Michael Bisping on negotiating with Dana White. With Dana White's recent announcement of a new boxing promotion, critics have been quick to take shots at him, suggesting that he will underpay boxers just as they claim he does with UFC fighters. Michael Bisping recently weighed in on the matter, recalling his own contract negotiations with Dana White ahead of his middleweight title defense against Georges St-Pierre. During those talks, Bisping brought up the earnings of professional boxers, hoping to use that as leverage in his negotiations. However, Dana immediately shut down the comparison, emphasizing that Bisping had already made significant money in the UFC, even before becoming a champion, far more than he would have earned as a boxer. Bisping shared the story, reflecting on Dana's response. "I'll say this, I don't mind sharing it. I remember negotiating my purse with Dana for when I fought Georges St-Pierre, and I was asking for a certain figure, and it was a large figure. I made a comparison to the boxing world, and Dana had a really good line for me. Dana wasted no time in setting the record straight." "Oh really? You want to use the boxing model now, Mike?" Bisping recalled how Dana broke it down for him, reminding him of the financial realities of the fight business. He said, "You have fought for me for about 12 years. You've never been a champion once. However, you've made a load of money. If you were in the boxing world, you would have made jack by now." Looking back, Bisping admitted that Dana had a point. And he's absolutely right. Unless you're a champion, unless you have a massive draw, you don't get paid. You lose one fight and you're down the road. I lost a bunch of fights along the way as well. Bisping acknowledged that boxing operates differently, with many fighters struggling financially unless they reach the absolute top. However, with Turki Alalshik now involved in Dana's new boxing venture, things could change. Of course, Turki Alalshik being involved, the man's got endless pockets. While White's approach to fighter pay remains a topic of debate, Bisping's experience highlights a key difference between boxing and MMA: consistency. In boxing, only the elite make life-changing money, while in the UFC, even fighters without belts can build a solid financial foundation. Whether Dana's new boxing promotion will change that remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, he's entering the boxing world with the same mindset that made the UFC a global powerhouse. Magomed Ankalaev slams Jon Jones, plus Tom Aspinall responds. Magomed Ankalaev has taken shots at Jon Jones once again, calling him out on social media and urging him to fight Tom Aspinall. It all started when Ankalaev referenced a post that had been circulating online, allegedly showing Jones commenting on Alex Pereira's Instagram, saying, "Disappointed, I was looking forward to sharing the octagon with you." However, when people checked Pereira's Instagram, the comment was nowhere to be found. This raised questions. Did Jones delete it, or was it fake from the start? Regardless, Ankalaev didn't hold back and kept the pressure on Jones, writing, "Johnny's steroid machine was very disappointed I beat Alex. Please fight Big Tom Aspinall. Stop running." To further stir the pot, Ankalaev also threw in another comment, writing, "Big Ank, Big Tom," alongside a handshake emoji, clearly trying to push for the fight to happen. But this wasn't the first time Jones dismissed the idea of facing Aspinall. Back in May, Jones had already downplayed the fight's significance, writing, "You actually think me fighting Tom would be more massive than Alex and I colliding? Tom only matters in the UK." Newsflash, the Ease, UFC, is one of the most polarizing figures the sport has seen. Tom's a contender who won the belt against another contender. We had to save Madison Square Garden at the main event. I'm thinking dollar signs, legacy, big picture here. Not what UK fans are dying to see. Literally just went through this with the FR, French fans. Ankalaev clearly wasn't buying Jones's reasoning and reposted the statement with his own message. "Big Ank time. Stop running." It didn't take long for Tom Aspinall to jump in. Instead of a long response, he simply reposted Ankalaev's post to his Instagram story, adding a handshake emoji, perhaps signaling that he's more than ready to take the fight. The heavyweight division is heating up, and with Jones still on the sidelines recovering from injury, the question remains, will he return to face Aspinall, or will he continue to dismiss the challenge? One thing is for sure, both Ankalaev and Aspinall are keeping the pressure on, and fans are eager to see if Jones will respond.